Have you ever spent hours reading a textbook, filling page after page with notes, only to find that you remember almost nothing when you need to the most? It's frustrating. You did the work, you put in the time, but the information seems to have vanished. But what if the problem isn't your memory, but the way you were capturing information in the first place? The secret to remembering more isn't just to write things down. It's to build a bridge between new information and the vast, intricate world of knowledge already inside your mind. Today, we're going to explore how to take notes that don't just record information, but supercharge your memory. To understand how to take better notes, we first need a quick look at how your brain remembers anything at all. Learning experts. Barbara Oakley explains that when you think, brain cells called neurons form connections with each other, creating pathways that represent the information. Think of these as trails in a forest. The more you walk a trail, the clearer and more established it becomes. Similarly, the more you use a neural pathway, the stronger the bonds between the neurons become, and the more ingrained the information. This is why practice makes perfect. But there's another crucial piece. As journalist and memory champion Joshua Foer highlights, memories don't exist in isolation. They're stored in a vast, interconnected web of associations. Think of the word baker. It probably also brings to mind the smell of fresh bread or your favorite local bakery. To retrieve a memory, you don't search for it directly. You search for the things connected to it. To remember your friend's car, you might first think about your friend, which leads you to the memory of their car. So, the goal of effective note-taking is simple: to actively encourage your brain to form strong, multi-lane highways of association, instead of faint, easily lost footpaths. So, how do we build these mental superhighways through our notes? First technique: clarify your note-taking goals. Before you write a single word, the first step is to ask, what is my goal? Teacher and brain coach Jim Kwik emphasizes that you must clarify what you need or want to learn from the material. Are you studying for a specific exam question? Trying to understand a core concept for a project? This goal acts as a filter, helping your brain prioritize what's important and ignore what's not. A practical way to do this is to preview your material. Before diving into the details, spend a few minutes skimming the chapter or article. Look at the headings, the images, the summary. This gives your brain a scaffold, a basic map. When you then read in detail, you have a place to hang all that new information, making it far easier to embed in your memory. Second technique: create multisensory associations. This is where the magic happens. Your brain doesn't learn best through words alone. It thrives on sensation. By connecting information to multiple senses, you create more synaptic connections, giving your brain more pathways to retrieve the memory later. Here are 4 ways to do this in your notes. First, integrate your existing knowledge. Association is the foundation of all learning. YouTuber Jade Bowler offers a great example. To remember that white blood cells fight disease, link them to the concept of a white knight coming to the rescue. You can also use mnemonics and acronyms. For instance, to remember biological taxonomy: kingdom, phylum, class, order, genus, species. You could use the sentence, King Philip cleaned orange fungus off Jenny's spectacles. The sillier and more vivid the image, the better. Second, engage your visual memory. We are visual creatures. Magician Harry Lorraine explains that it's easier to remember a concrete image, like a horse, than an abstract name like Julie. But if you picture Julie's face covered in jewels, you create a visual hook. You can take this further with a memory palace, a technique used by memory champions. Imagine a place you know well, like your home. To remember a shopping list: blueberries, crackers, cereal, beer. You could mentally place the blueberries in your mailbox, the crackers on your front lawn, the cereal by the door, and the beer on the mat. To recall the list, you simply take a mental walk through your palace. Third, activate your emotions. Information is easily forgotten, but feelings are memorable. Jim Kwik points out that you likely remember exactly where you were when you received extraordinary news. You can attach emotions to your study material. Joshua Foer suggests that when studying the water cycle, you could link evaporation with curiosity as water rises, condensation with togetherness as droplets form clouds, and precipitation with joy as rain returns to the earth. Fourth, use punning. For abstract words, use rhymes or puns to make them concrete. Remember the joy of cooking. Picture a therapist writing a prescription that says, One homemade meal a day for increased joy. Third technique, take notes about your notes. The final step in the note-taking process is to actively engage with what you've just written. This isn't passive review, it's an active reconstruction. One way is to simplify. Try to distill complex ideas into their core components using a mind map. Start with a central idea and branch out with related concepts using colors and images. This forces you to identify relationships and key points. Another powerful method is the dual column technique. Draw a line down the center of your page. On the right, take your initial notes. On the left, later, write summaries, questions, or keywords that capture the essence of the notes on the right. This act of rephrasing and summarizing is a form of active recall, strengthening those neural pathways. Finally, as Jim Quick recommends, go back and actively highlight key points and scribble questions in the margins. This turns your notes from a static record into a living conversation with the material. Your notes are more than just words on a page. They are the blueprint your brain uses to construct understanding. By taking notes with clear intent, by weaving new facts into a rich tapestry of senses, images, and emotions, and by actively working with those notes, you stop merely transcribing information. You start building knowledge. You're not just a librarian, archiving books. You are an architect, designing palaces of memory. So the next time you open a book or sit in a lecture, don't just take notes. Build a world your brain will never want to leave. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button.